An early season MAC Red matchup tonight right here on Macomb Township Government Access. Hello again, everybody, and happy holidays. I'm Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham coming to you tonight from Dakota High School, home of the Cougars, as they get set to clash with the Creuse North Crusaders. And Adam, we focus our attention first on the Macomb Dakota Cougars, and they are red-hot winners of 3 straight ball games.
And their latest victory being a 3-point victory over Roseville, who a lot of people are favored to win the MAC right now, a very good team. And they went to Roseville on the road to beat, again, a very good Roseville team. They can come at you a lot of different ways. They're fundamental on defense. You got Ryan Rollins, Joshua Hines, Mark Toko, a 3-headed monster, difficult to stop. And they're only getting better. They're playing better every game, and their scores are reflecting it, and they're going to be a force to compete with in the MAC.
As for the Creuse North Crusaders, well, it's been a little bit of a slow start for them, getting back to basics as they start out the season 0-3.
We talked to head coach Jay Seletsky before the game, and he talked about it, baptism by fire. He's going to throw his guys out there. They got some injuries to deal with. They're dealing with some depth issues. They're a younger team. They lost two games to Lance Creuse High School and Port Huron Northern, who Coach Seletsky thought they should have won those games. He's going to coach things like making decisions and taking good shots. It's not running offenses. It's not the intricate. It's not tricks up your sleeve. It's back to the basics, fundamental basketball for the Crusaders.
Dakota with an opportunity to start out the season 2-0 in league play. Creuse North looks to even up their record at 1-1. Opening tip coming up next right here on MTGA.
Some say e-cigarettes aren't dangerous.
But science shows nicotine can harm teens' developing brains.
No matter how they're exposed.
Let's do an experiment to find out.
Here's a teen who won't be using e-cigarettes.
Now we need one willing to risk their brain development.
Anyone care to volunteer your kid?
Anyone?
Your kids are not an experiment. Protect them from e-cigarettes.
Welcome back to Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham. Let's meet tonight's starters. First for the visitors from Creuse North. Number 3, Makai Johnson. Number 4, Jeremiah Williams Stewart. Number 5, Jordan Brossett. Number 12, Brian Bendo. And number 15, Jakari Hamilton. The Crusaders are coached by Jay Seletsky. And now for the home team, the Dakota Cougars, under the guidance of Paul Toko. Number 0, Jeremiah Major. Number 1, Joshua Hines. Number 2, senior captain Mark Toko. Number 10, Xavier Glenn. And number 11, junior captain Ryan Rollins. LCN coming into tonight's game with an 0-3 record, 0-1 in league play. Dakota 3-1, 1-0 in MAC Red play. Dakota in the home gray jerseys, Creuse North in their road blacks with gold numerals. And Adam, here we go.
Yeah, and how about Dakota looking to make it 15 straight against the Crusaders? The last time the Crusaders took down the Cougars was back in 2013 in district finals. Crusaders beat Dakota 58-46, but again, that was 6 years ago. Dakota looking to make it 15 straight.
Bendo and Glenn to tip it off, and Glenn and the Cougars will win the opening draw, and it'll be Ryan Rollins with it. Extraordinary guard for the Cougars. Coming off a terrific 22.9 rebound performance was Rollins. And the alley-oop to Glenn as he slams it down.
Great rhythm to start off for the Dakota Cougars. We've seen them a couple times already this year, but they're clicking on all cylinders. They got a great feel for these players. They've been playing for a few years with each other. Great job.
Nice trap there by the Dakota defense. And they turn over LCN as Jordan Brossett took a couple steps inside the lane and turns it over with the travel. So ball over Dakota, already leading 2-0.
Mentioned in the opener, it's back to the fundamentals for the Crusaders. There you saw Brossett hesitate a little bit as he couldn't decide if he wanted to go to the rack or pass it. Got called for the travel. Got to make that decision quick and make your move.
Really a stifling defense that time by the Cougars. They came up with that half-court trap. Had Johnson right in front of the scorer's table. He was able to pass out of it, but Brossett taking too many steps. Rollins now, pull-up jumper, no good. In and out Rebounded down by number 4, Jeremiah Williams. Stewart loses track of the ball and watches it roll out of bounds back to Dakota. So a couple early turnovers here for the Crusaders. Not the ideal start for them.
And Mark Toko, got the steal right, essentially a steal right there, getting right on his defender. Very quick, very scrappy player Mark Toko is, able to come up with the turnover.
The ball will stay with the Cougars. This is a Dakota team that's averaging nearly 61 points per game offensively. We know they can really get after it. That's the man right here, driving baseline, scoops and scores. Ryan Rollins with the early deuce.
Ryan Rollins, one of those dynamic players for the Dakota offense. They play well with each other, but they can also have a couple players, Ryan Rollins being one of them, that can face you up, take you one-on-one, multiple threats coming from different angles.
Coach Jay Seletsky admitted to us that they really don't have that dynamic scorer yet. Rollins for Dakota can really fill it up. A good look inside, short shot, miss, follow-up miss there for LCN. Another opportunity, nothing able to fall right now for LCN. It was Stewart and number 15 Hamilton with multiple looks there. Glenn inside, little baby hook gets it to fall. An early 6-0 lead for Dakota, gets a timeout from Coach Jay Seletsky.
All 6'6" of junior center Xavier Glenn helped them there. There you saw elevate. When he elevates and gets his hand up, he's essentially level with the rim, easy putback on the 6-foot hook jump shot from Xavier Glenn. One of the better centers in the MAC, and he's one of those younger pieces for the Dakota team that you're going to see along with Joshua Hines for the years to come.
Yeah, Josh Hines, only a sophomore guard, really was impressed with his performance in our broadcast of their game against Romeo. Hines, another guy in that guard position that can really fill it up. So you mentioned at the very top of the broadcast, they have a three-headed monster. A lot of different components to this Dakota offense.
And Joshua Hines, what he doesn't have is in his size. He's 6 foot 155. He's a smaller guy, but he's young. He's a sophomore. He's going to have a chance to build up, get stronger, but what he lacks in size, he makes up for lateral quickness. Very quick with his hands and, more importantly, his feet.
Obviously, Coach Seletsky not seeing the energy out of his starters here tonight. Puts 5 fresh bodies onto the floor, and now you got a 10-second violation as LCN was unable to get it over the timeline.
There's nothing going on this half-court trap. These guards for L'Anse Creuse North are getting into 3 quarters and just freeze once they get 5 feet off the half-court line. Dakota ripping them up in that half-court trap.
Toko takes the handoff. He's a quarterback, but he looked like a running back on that play. Sky's up for the easy lay-in.
Easy two-man give and go. We got the 2 defenders crossed on the switch. Should have stayed with his man, and an easy layup for Dakota.
Samson fires one inside, in and out of the hands of Anthony Klaglerich and out of bounds. So another turnover for the Crusaders, and this has been an absolute nightmare start for LCN.
And a lot of pressure. Credit Dakota. They're playing very well, very fast, clearly outmatching L'Anse Creuse North right now. And the first thing you start with is the energy.
So Ryan Rollins now the off guard. Hines over to Rollins, 3 on the way, pure.
2-3 zone, L'Anse Creuse North switched out of that man to that zone. Dakota, a couple easy passes, open up one of their shooters.
Now a steal for Rollins, coasts in. 7 early points for Ryan Rollins, and they are pouring it on now. They lead at 13-0, and another turnover at the half-court line as Hines skies up and jams it down.
See Joshua Hines, all 6 foot 155, getting up, touching the rim, young man.
Fast and furious scoring right now for the Cougars. With 4:22 remaining in the first quarter, they lead at 15-0, and the starters now will check back in. Coach Steve Conger talking to Samson, giving him a lesson over there, and that's what Coach Seletsky said to us. It's a lot of teaching moments.
This is definitely going to be one of them, down 15-0 early.
Just got to chip away at it the best they can. Another trap right in front of the Dakota bench this time, dribbling out of it. Makai Johnson into the corner for Stewart, looking to go inside. Post-up move from Jakari Hamilton. Will go over to Stewart instead. Bounce pass inside. Brossett, two-pointer short. Rebound cleaned up momentarily by Brian Bendo. And his shot swatted out of there.
You can hear Coach Jay yelling from three-quarters court, shoot the ball. L'Anse Creuse North hesitating again. Coach Jay talked about that beforehand. They're hesitating. 3 good looks on that possession. They got nothing to show for it but out of bounds.
Makai Johnson, one of the returning guards for this LCN team, only a junior, played a lot of minutes last year as a sophomore, battled through injury last year as well, suffered a concussion in early league play and missed quite a handful of games. So good to see him healthy back on the floor for LCN. That'll be Jakari Hamilton with the opportunity now to finally get LCN on the board, and he misses the first. Connects on the second. So 15-0 run to start. It is now 15-1. Rollins deferring to Toko. Over to Evan Messing, one of the 3 tri-captains on this Dakota team. Messing just checked into the game along with Tyler O'Connor. Toko drives baseline, gets cut off, but a terrific job there by Xavier Glenn. Goes up strong.
Yeah, terrific job by Glenn. Credit him on that. Good job by North defensively. Wasn't necessarily a breakdown. You had 5 guys swarm the paint. Just a great finish by a very good player.
Johnson left alone. He knocks down the triple. Good ball movement out of the Cougars. Rollins draws a double team, able to pass out of it. O'Connor being harassed there by Johnson. Into the corner for Toko, looking for an answer, can't get it, tapped around momentarily, and finally picked up by Stewart. Outlets it ahead to Makai Johnson. Johnson driving into the paint, glides through a couple Dakota Cougar defenders, lays it in and gives Santa a little bit of business down there.
And he comes back just as quickly, hustling with those quick hands on the defensive end to poke that ball out of bounds. Johnson making something work himself.
I don't know if this is the time of the year to be giving Santa a push down there. And one of the students for Dakota wearing that Santa Claus outfit.
One of the few gyms in the MAC, though, you're not running into a brick wall on that end.
So a turnover leads to transition. That ball almost went in. Brossett unable to connect, and a turnover. Here comes Glenn now, looking to put an exclamation point on this first quarter. Glenn with 8 points, and LCN answers right back. Brian Bendo with the lay-in.
Dakota, despite the lead, they can't get away from their game. That time they got lazy backing up in transition defense because they got excited on the dunk. You got to come back and play both ends of the floor.
Up-tempo start to this ball game. Step back 3 on the way. Man. Rollins knocks it down.
That was Jeremiah Williams Stewart guarding Rollins, but there's nothing you can do on a 6'3" player on a step back 3. Good players make good shots sometimes.
Davenport with the ball fake, got him some room. Pass was deflected out of bounds, so it will stay with the Crusaders. Marvin Hughes, Jeremiah Major, and Joey Toko, along with Evan Whaling now into the game for the Cougars. So Coach Toko using a lot of his bench here in this first quarter, and why not that comfortable 22-8 lead. Poor pass inside. Davenport able to get it right back. Bendo's 3 misses the mark. Toko hustling, gets dirty, gets it up ahead now to Marvin Hughes. Hughes pulls up, ringing around the perimeter. 3 on the way from Joey Toko. One-handed putback by Major doesn't connect. And here comes LCA looking to run. Johnson 3, in and out and down. Shooter's touch that time for Makai Johnson.
Yeah, great shot by Johnson on the wing in transition, trailing his guys nicely. Better vision as we got to the second half of this first quarter from L'Anse Creuse North. They're starting to find that open guy.
Toko from the corner, no good. Bendo rips down the board. Here comes Johnson, really has been the spark plug for this LCN offense with 8 points. Can't get that 2 to fall. Ball on the baseline. Ball pops up momentarily. Ball loose. Joey Toko crossing over, goes up with it. Evan Whaling three, no good. And finally a foul on the floor will stop the clock with 14.6 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
Very aggressive game that started to get a little bit out of hand those last two possessions. Jeremiah Major getting called for the foul in that last one, but Lance Creuse North again starting to find that pass, find that open man. Maybe a message to the starters Coach Jay Seletsky sent to him by sitting them almost immediately in the beginning stages of this first quarter. They're reacting, and they're reacting well.
LCN's gonna have to hurry to get this final shot up. It's gonna be Johnson. Good hesitation move, beats the buzzer. Terrific quarter out of Makai Johnson. Been all the offense here tonight for the Crusaders as we have one quarter in the books. It's the Dakota Cougars 22, the LCN Crusaders 13. We'll take a break here on MTJ, but we'll be back with the start of the second quarter of play. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Jordan Peele. I'm usually trying way too hard to be funny. Well, right now I'm going to be completely serious with you. Online bullying is a toxic side effect of modern technology. No one's immune to it. Not you, not me, nobody. But there's a way we can fix it. This emoji in the symbol section of your phone's emoji keyboard. Use it when you see bullying online to say, I see what you're doing, not cool, definitely not funny. And I know what funny is. I coined the phrase wordness to the turdness. So join me and become a witness. When you see bullying online, use this emoji to do something. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org.
Welcome back to Dakota. 22-13 Cougars out in front, and really it was a two-man show for Dakota in that first quarter of play.
18 of 22 points from the 4 and 5 positions of Ryan Rollins and Xavier Glenn for the Cougars. Very good job by the big men out front. They're not only playing well down low, but they're stepping out. Ryan Rollins hit that fadeaway three, and most importantly, they're getting out in transition.
So LCN fell down behind. A little spin move out of Jensen Davenport. Toko coasts the other way, lays it up, can't get it to fall, but got fouled, so he'll go to the line to shoot two. We mentioned that 15-0 run to start the game for Dakota, but really Makai Johnson, the junior guard, worked them back into this game. What a quarter for Johnson.
10 points in the first quarter from Johnson. He rattled off 5 there in a row to get Lance Creuse North at least back 18-5. Or 18-6, excuse me, and got them still hanging around. A 15-0 run to start the game, but it's only a 9-point game right now.
So Mark Toko splits at the line, 3 points for the senior captain. LCN slowing things down. It really had a tough time with this full court press, and they have to get it over the timeline, and finally they will, and a tie-up situation, able to break it. Johnson three on the way, no good, off the back heel. Toko skies up to come down with the rebound. Looking to break it out, dumps it off to Xavier Glenn. Glenn from inside the paint, draws contact, and will shoot two.
Glenn, despite being 6'6", very quick hands, very quick feet, able to laterally move there, get that little bit, a couple inches inside the space, able to get off that shot, take the foul, and almost drop that shot.
You have to imagine this is the type of pace of play that Dakota favors, and really it's going to be a long night here for LCN. They just do not have the athletes to run the floor.
That's exactly it, and you got size and speed on Dakota's end. Tough for almost any team in the state to really run with them, and just a smaller, less athletic, less skilled, not necessarily less skilled, but less seasoned team on the other side.
Another turnover right at the center court logo. Toko passes off a look. Josh Hines, three, pure, knocking down the long-range shot. This Dakota squad, that inside-out game is terrific. Brossett lost the handle going up with the shot and did have a foul call.
Well, you
Instead
mentioned
of
that.
fouls on the floor, Adam.
You mentioned that inside-out game for Dakota. That's their MO. They work everything through Xavier Glenn and Ryan Rollins. They have quieter games. They have higher scoring games. And they have some shooters on this Dakota team, but you have to be able to find the man.
At 3, missing long. Rollins up ahead to Glenn through some traffic. Ryans comes down with the rebound, and Rollins, a guard we mentioned, coming off a 9-rebound performance in their win over Roseville. So he's a guy that just has a high basketball IQ and just knows where to pick his spots on the floor to come down with those boards.
Yeah, listed as a guard, but standing at 6'3", complete.
Glenn looking for that dunk off the inbound play, and that transition bucket is scored by Christian Johnson, his first basket of the game, and lead back up to 13 for the Cougars. They're going to finally slow things down. Josh Hines will defer to Mark Toko. His father calling out the play. Toko over to Rollins, back to Toko. Toko pulls up, finds a streaking Rollins, who got cut off well. Gets it right back on the give and go. 3, pure.
Easy little motion offense from Coach Toko that time, breaking apart the 2-3 zone on the half court.
You got a block shot on the other end. Here comes the Cougars looking to run.
See you later.
Hines goes behind the back, goes up with it. Rollins for 3 again. Oh, money.
No, that's where Dakota gets so dangerous, Brad, when they can work a half-court offense, 10, 12 passes on one end, and then they come out in transition and hit another 3 out on that end. They can do it both ways, and they're executing to a T.
Rollins with back-to-back triples gives him a game-high 16 points with 5:31 remaining in the first half. It's Dakota 34, LCN 15, so a 19-point lead now for the Cougars, and everything going right offensively.
Ryan Rollins, first team All-MAC Red, scoring MVP last year for this Dakota team. We knew coming into this season, regardless of what happens, Ryan Rollins was going to be one of your better players, and he's just so dynamic. Again, 6'3", but listed as a guard because he's so quick, inside, outside, runs the floor, and most importantly, these guys play some serious defense down low, getting the steals, getting the blocks, getting the rebounds. They can do it all.
Probably one of the top players in Macomb, if not all of the state. Ryan Rollins already has that Cleveland State offer. Last season, 22.5 points per game, and well on that way here tonight.
And as a junior, you can only expect a few more offers as his play just keeps getting better and better and better.
He's a fun one to watch, and whoever gets him in a couple years at the Division I level is going to be lucky. Terrific player. AAU team is the family. Josh Hines, Toko, and Rollins, that 3-headed monster that you called them at the very top of the broadcast. And then you got Xavier Glenn, too, goes up strong there. And blocks the shot. So Xavier Glenn, the 6'6" junior center, doing a little bit of everything here tonight.
And anytime a Crusader gets within 5 feet of the basket, Xavier Glenn's right there, so quick in getting back, finding his spot, and doesn't allow any easy baskets at the net.
Brossett telegraphing that pass, was looking to go to Makai Johnson. Cougars doing a nice job of clogging up the passing lanes. Deflection sent the ball out of bounds, so it'll remain with LCN.
And a player like Xavier Glenn, knowing you're a guard and having him down low in the circle allows you to make plays like that. Be aggressive.
Rollins up ahead to Hines. Hines looking to get involved in the offense. He's got 5 points, gets tied up along with Christian Johnson. Jump ball will stay with the Cougars. Jeremiah Williams-Stewart back into the game for LCN. Replaces Christian Johnson in the lineup. Josh Hines will take a seat for Dakota. And our first look at Sean Swaysinger, and he's going to get involved in the offense. Says, why not? He's been watching his teammates knock down threes.
Here's another thing that makes Dakota super dangerous. They're deep 1 through 12 on this bench. Coach Toko is not afraid to use anybody in the lineup. As you can see, a player can come off the bench cold and bury a 3.
Step through drive by Jeremiah Williams Stewart was fouled on the floor. Marzuk Samsudin. That was a player for LCN that really flashed some brilliance last season, and gonna need him to do a little bit more, especially on this end. He's a good post-up player, and he threw that one into trouble, and Hines takes away. Up ahead to Glenn. Glenn drives baseline. Schweisinger's two, no good, but that'll work out like a pass as Hines was right there to collect it and went up with a two of his own.
And a missed assignment on the opposite end for Lance Creuse North. You got to be able to box a player off coming off the weak side. Can't give up any weak side rebounds.
So Makai Johnston's shot got trapped between the rim and the backboard, and we had a jump ball situation. The arrow was pointing the wrong way, so this should be LCN basketball. They didn't switch over the arrow on the last jump ball, so this will stay with LCN.
Good, honest job by the scorers down there at the scoring table.
A 19-2 run here in the second quarter has opened up this Dakota lead now to 26 points. Brossett up top, dribbles into a double team. Samsudin back to Brossett. Three on the way, no good. Toko comes down with the rebound, pushing it ahead, and that's the Dakota MO, always looking up court. They want to press the tempo, and why not? They can do it. They have the manpower to do it. Jeremiah Major and Tyler O'Connor, the two Cougars off the bench. Johnson, after that strong 10-point performance in the first quarter, has cooled off. 0 points now here in the second. A little bit of a body shot there by Tyler O'Connor away from the basket. O'Connor's second personal foul, fifth foul on Dakota. So one more to give. Johnson pulls up, looking to go inside to Samsudin, goes up with a hook, but the foul occurred on the floor before the shot. Gonna get Evan Whaling for the personal. So team 6, so bonus basketball the rest of the way now for LCN, and 2:29 remaining in the first half. An opportunity perhaps to cut into this lead via some free throws. Brossett to trigger things in for LCN. Jeremiah Williams Stewart with the ball. Motion to Johnson, three, short. Tyler O'Connor bringing the ball up now. Over to Joey Toko, long range, two, no good. Jeremiah Major, the linebacker for the Dakota football team, comes down with the rebound. Over to Josh Hines, hangs but can't hit, but will shoot two.
Josh Hines so sneaky when in terms of getting to the lane, getting to the rack, able to sidestep his players and just create a shot anywhere he wants on the floor, and he earned 2 free throws that time. Very excited to see a player like Josh Hines being able to develop, especially with Ryan Rollins and Xavier Glenn next year. Those three are staying together. 3 of the 4, of course, Mark Toko, you're going to lose him to graduation, but you're holding most of this nucleus together in Dakota. So you're only building, not only on this season, looking for success, someone you picked to win the MAC. I do believe so.
Ah, that was my broadcast partner, Jason Burnt.
Oh.
He likes picking the favorites. I went with a little bit of a deeper sleeper, Chippewa Valley. I like that success they had on the football field. Thought maybe that would carry over onto the hardwood, and hasn't been the case thus far, but we'll see. Chippewa Valley, let's see here.
Chippewa Valley
2-3, 0-1 red play.
They are the team on the 39 conference game win streak of Dakota. That streak started and ended with Chippewa Valley.
Yeah, Dakota 44-1 now over the last 5 seasons in league play. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Jermaine Jackson helps.
Sure does. Toko knocks that down.
While we're on the topic of Jermaine Jackson, you talk to Mark Toko or Paul Toko. Mark Toko learned a lot playing behind Jermaine Jackson for a few years. Being able to play behind a player that's now playing the University of Detroit Mercy, learned a lot, and that has translated into minutes, into points, into steals, into everything this year for Toko.
Samps it in with the baseball pass, has it intercepted. And Mark Toko right on cue, can't get the floater to fall. Samps it in, comes down with the rebound, and now we got an official's timeout. Sam Sedin took a shot to the head on the previous offensive possession, was down for quite a while, and now is in considerable amount of pain and will have to come out of this basketball game more than likely. She has both hands clenched on top, and Jay Seletsky talking to the official. Don't know if it was perhaps an elbow that he thought maybe wasn't quite as incidental.
Joey Toko also going off the court. He is now out of the gym for the Cougars. Looked like he caught an elbow or something to the mouth as he was grabbing his mouth at the end of that, talking to Dad over on the sideline, of course, head coach Paul Toko.
So under a minute now remaining in the second quarter, 45-15, a 30-point lead for the Dakota Cougars, and Toko and Glenn and the rest of the starting 5 just continues to pour it on. LCN looking for some sort of offense. Held to 2 points in the second quarter, and they're going to wave the bucket off.
And I love this mix that Coach Toko is going to with obviously opening up to a 15-0 lead. You're able to do some different things. At no point during this first half have you seen all 5 starters take the bench. It's always been 2 or 3 starters with 2 or 3 role players. It's a great way to get guys mixed in playing time because you never know what a situation is going to dictate as we get into March.
Toko draws 3 defenders, hands it off to Glenn, who slams it down. 14 points for Xavier Glenn, and finally the well is open for Jeremiah Williams-Stewart. They'll call that a 3-point bucket. But Dakota, 25-5. They outscore LCN in that second quarter, now lead at 47-18. Adam, your thoughts here on the first half of play?
It's just difficult for the Crusaders. They're going to have to go back to the drawing board, rip it down, and build up a new one during this halftime. Whatever they're doing not working. First off, the only thing you can pretty much focus on moving to the second half, you need to stop Glenn and Rollins, and you go from there and figure it out.
A dominating performance out of Dakota. They lead at 47-18. We'll take a quick break here on MTJ, but when we come back, the start of the play in the third quarter.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Macomb County, 27 cities, townships, and villages. From East Point to Memphis, Romeo to New Baltimore. 458 square miles of where you want to be. It's a place where your children can grow, and so can your business. Macomb County's tree-lined borders contain over 12,000 acres of parkland. Its outer edge, 31 miles of freshwater shoreline, both filled each year with countless concerts, festivals, and family reunions. It's the birthplace of advanced technologies that not only instruct future generations, but protect them. Hey, and those are just facts. You can get that from the internet or a book. No. To truly understand what Macomb County is all about, you need to experience it. You need to live here. You need to work here. When you do that, you'll know you're home.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
We are back here on MTJ. Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham. All Dakota Cougars in that first half. They lead at 47-18. LCN first possession here in this third quarter. And really for Dakota, Xavier Glenn and Ryan Rollins were the answer in that first half.
Yeah, and they combined for 30 of the 47 Cougars points, but that's their MO. They work big guys to the outside for their shooters. Big guy's doing a great job finishing on the inside today as well. But Ryan Rollins also playing the part of the shooter, hit a couple threes as well.
Jakari Hamilton hacked down low, will shoot 2 free throws. Really, for Dakota, only 5 guys factored in the scoring. Josh Hines, 8 points in the first half. Mark Toko, 6. Swisinger came off the bench and knocked down that three-pointer. Hamilton, tough luck miss on the first. For LCN, Makai Johnson, those 10 first quarter points. Doesn't score in the second quarter, and really that's why they got outscored 25-5 in the second frame. Now, what can you say? Hines picking up where he left off in the first half. Another three-pointer, and that's just unbelievable what this Dakota offense has been able to muster here in this game.
8 points for him.
Foul up there by Jemiah Major. He gets involved in the score right now. And then Makai Johnson with the answer.
Good move by Johnson to get in there, but it's important, as you mentioned, most of the scoring coming from Rollins and Glenn, and that's something you want to diversify if you're Dakota. Joshua Hines, one of those guys, he could score pretty much at will. Maybe look to get him more involved because you're not always going to be able to rely on the two big guys.
Brasa with the takeaway, up ahead to Makai Johnson, and he blows the layup, and then coming over the top of Mark Toko there. Scary looking play. And Jeremiah Williams-Stewart. And Stewart's going to pick up the foul.
Makai Johnson going in strong. Just sometimes they come off glass, you know, when things don't go so well, when you're losing 30 at halftime. Sometimes you check yourself out of the game. That's a play you got to complete when you're on a breakaway like that. But
LCN bench right now. Coach Seletsky, Conger, and alley-oop dunk for Xavier Glenn.
Right in rhythm. Hines comes across the baseline. That's the third time we've seen that single play unstoppable. LCN just doesn't have anybody to body Hines down there.
And that backdoor cut for Xavier Glenn gives Glenn 16 points, and he's had a couple big highlight reel dunks in this game. Is looking for a cut there, doesn't come, and Toko with the easy takeaway and another alley-oop. Kind of had Glenn underneath the glass, and Glenn just fortunate to even get that ball on rim. That would have been a circus shot if that was able to go down.
Yeah, talk about readjusting in air to keep that ball inbounds and even to get a shot off in that situation.
Rollins off the curl, can't get it to go. Here comes Johnson up ahead to Stewart. Stewart in the corner. Using that left hand, goes into the lane, and Major gets called for the reach-in. 5:27 remaining third quarter, 54-20 Cougar lead.
And here's a different look. We talk about Coach Toko mixing things up. It's now Jeremiah Major finding him, or he was finding himself in the middle as he checks out of this game, but it gave Xavier Glenn a chance to be able to pop to the outside. So a different look at LCN.
And Major checks out with 3 personal fouls. Gets replaced in the lineup by Evan Messing. Messing Guy that gives you some more size, 6'3".
How about the matchup of Joshua Hines and Mekhi Johnson right now, going back and forth as this third period moves just under the 3-minute mark, but a couple quick plays. Hines got his hand on the ball, but Johnson's able to readjust and get a shot off.
Terrific ball movement. Hines is cut off along that baseline, gets up to Rollins right straight away, gets the high ball screen, goes into the lane, draws contact, and they'll say it was a blocking foul.
Curry Hamilton called on that block, just couldn't set his feet as Ryan Rollins got down the lane in a hurry.
Kai Johnson with the interception. Hines having to get back defensively. It's called for the foul. Kai Johnson, the only bright spot offensively for the Crusaders. So now he has 13 points. An LCN team that's going to take their growing pains this season.
Jay Seletsky, head coach, Lanes Creuse North, talked to us before the game about how they don't really have that go-to scorer. Maybe they're developing something over there in Mekhi Johnson. You just need the role players to pick it up, but it's a step in the right direction in terms of putting points up on the board.
Really nice drop-off pass by Mark Tokyo to Evan Messing. Messing unable to complete the play, but we'll go to the line to shoot two. And Mekhi Johnson really got quite the run last season as a point guard for the varsity team, and mentioned in the first half went down with a concussion right at the start of league play, and this was a team that last year in LCN that was really devastated by injuries, losing Blake Daniels at the start of the season, and really were never really able to recover.
Every season's different. You go through your struggles, and you got to have players step up. This is another one. You talk about this LCN team. A loss today and a loss on Friday puts them pretty much out of the title contention at 0-3 in the MAC Red. That doesn't mean you can't make a run in March, and that's what Jay Seletsky is known for. That's what he eyes, and his LCN teams typically are successful in the playoffs. So that's what you start looking forward to, and you take steps in the right direction by being better each game.
Christian Johnson with a really good jumper there. Tap away by Mekhi Johnson. Johnson and Johnson, all 6 points in this third quarter. Hines went up, and they're going to say no shot, that he was in the process of passing.
Mekhi Johnson really getting after himself on that one, struggling back and taps the floor at half court. Upset with himself for missing that layup. It's the second one this half. As a player where you're going to go to be the scorer, you can't mess it up, because Mark Toko was going to give him that layup. Mark Toko wasn't taking a foul on that in a 30-point game, and it's not anything you want to see someone get hurt up, so he gave it to him and he missed it.
Double team. Glenn able to pass out of it. Goes to Hines with those 11 points. Crossover dribble, kind of yo-yos it. Flips one up, doesn't get it to fall, but it'll go to the charity line.
That's a dangerous game when you're playing a pick and roll with Joshua Hines and Xavier Glenn. Xavier Glenn's got a little bit of range. He likes to go to the rack, can dunk it. Joshua Hines, a player we talk about being able to score at will. He put that shot up with his left hand, the one on the sleeve is, but he shoots free throws with his right. He's a right-handed player, but can shoot both ways. That's a scary dynamic duo when you want to break it down to a two-man game on a simple offense.
Hines able to knock down both. 13 points for him. Glenn 16, Rollins 16. So 3 guys in double digits right now. A little hesitation move by Mekhi Johnson. Continues to show us flashes of brilliance.
Yeah, and you saw it in his eyes coming down the court that time. He was taking that solo jump steps between splits defenders and able to go up and under on a scoop and a score.
So Makai Johnson will look to put the finishing touches on an old-fashioned three-point play, and he will, in fact, do that. Team high 17 for Makai Johnson, the junior guard.
17 of the 27. Unfortunately, this is a team game, and you do have to figure out scoring them from another facet.
Hines able to contort his body to get around the defender there. Josh Hines has really taken over this third quarter. 7 points here in the third frame.
Comparatively to 2 points for Xavier Glenn and none for Ryan Rollins. So you mentioned off the top of this half that this was the first half dominated by those two forwards. Joshua Hines picking up the guard play.
Rollins looking to get back involved. Evan Messing follows up the miss with a make. Cougars just pouring it on now. 61-27, 2:34 remaining in the third quarter. The two look good off the hand. Christian Johnson, but it'll fall to the wayside. Tap away, good box out. Here comes the Crusaders. Makai Johnson goes up with the ball, has it swatted out of there by Rollins. But it looked like the foul was going to be called against number 1, Josh Hines. Now they're going to get Rollins anyway. I thought it was going to go against Hines, but it went against Rollins.
Looked like it could go either way on the reach or the tip, but good move by Johnson. Rollins read that pretty well as he saw that the last time he came down the floor. More of a half-court set from the last play, but it was the same kind of move to get to the rack and scoop in the score. Rollins wasn't really willing to watch that one go in, though.
Off the back iron. Uh-oh. Joshua Hines kind of pulled up there, and I thought he grabbed his back and appears to be okay. O'Connor with the skip pass. Gets a high ball screen from Evan Messing, working the way around it. Evan Whaling in and out. Wiped down by Jansen Davenport.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Hines still grabbing at his back. Coach Toko's going to take no chances on one of his better players and take him out of the game right away as he caught a shove from Makai Johnson on the back end of that play.
Holman is left back. This will be Joey Toko and Marvin Hughes into the game, along with Evan Whaling, Tyler O'Connor, and Jeremiah Major. That's a 5 on the floor for Dakota. Eric Sutter, Jack McLeod, Jensen Davenport, Brian Bendo, and Makai Johnson, the counter for LCN. Eric Sutter in the corner, no good. Rebounded by Jensen Davenport.
Jensen Davenport, the senior forward, now on the court. The first time I think we've seen Dakota or Alliance Creuse North have a height advantage at one of the forward positions. Davenport comes in fresh off the bench, hustling for a rebound. Jeremiah Major, very, very strong man in the middle. Doesn't have quite the height or the lateral ability, but definitely makes it up for his toughness. Davenport's able to body him off for the foul.
Jeremiah Major falling out of this game. Davenport with the split.
How about Major? Played his freshman and sophomore year on varsity, took off junior year to focus on football and decided to come back his senior year, and he was in the starting lineup today.
Joey Toko. Colton Krolowski out there now. He's going to eye a three and can't connect. Toko ripping down the rebound. Up ahead to Evan Whaling. Got involved in the big guys down low and couldn't come away with any points. Tough luck miss, followed up, no good. Krolowski inside, goes up strong with the left. Nathan Swijek, who took the spot on the floor of Jeremiah Major, wears 20 in gray, sets a screen right at the half-court line. Skip pass from the elbow, 3, rattles its way down for Marvin Hughes.
More than anything, I'll give this Dakota team bench this credit, not being afraid to come off and shoot off the bench.
Kai Johnson answers right back. 21 points for Makai Johnson now, and this one's going to have to go up quickly. That will not count even if it does fall, as Dakota has doubled up LCN after 3 quarters of play. They lead it 64-32. One final break here at Macomb Township Government Access, but when we come back, the 4th and final quarter of play.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back to Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham. And Adam, everybody getting involved offensively for the Cougars here tonight. 8 different Dakota players have factored into the scoring.
Yeah, and that's different from a first half that was absolutely dominated by Xavier Glenn and Ryan Rollins. Everyone getting involved. Josh Hines kind of led the way on that one, but every player on this bench seen shots, seen some points.
Coach Paul Toko emptying his bench now, has 5 reserves out on the floor. And Marvin Hughes knocked down a triple in the 3rd quarter, is able to get that shot to fall off the high glass and in, and we'll go to the line for the and one.
That's fundamental basketball. Always use the glass. You hit the top corner of that with the right kind of backspin, it's going to fall no matter where it's from or what angle. Great job by Hughes to make his own shot.
So LCN looking for some secondary scoring. They have relied solely on Makai Johnson here tonight. He has 21 of the Crusader 32 points. And you look up and down the stat sheet, Christian Johnson's got 4, Stewart's got 3, Bendo's got 2, Davenport's got 1, and Hamilton's got 1. So realistically, just not getting the scoring from some of your role players.
No, and that's the key difference, is that you kind of now have that go-to scorer in Makai Johnson developing, but there's no role players. And a guy like him's got good court vision, got good sight. He's very good passer, but doesn't really have anyone willing to knock down shots.
Marvin Hughes, heat check there. Whalen looking for the wraparound pass. Swijek goes up and gets the jumper to fall.
They're really getting everyone involved now.
Davenport looking for the answer. Offensive rebound by Eric Sutter. Swisinger kicks the ball up ahead to Toko, back to Swisinger. Off the back heel, can't get it to go. Jordan Brossett now, crossover dribble into the lane, goes up with it. Evan Whaling there with the block shot. 68-32, 6:22 remaining in the 4th quarter. And Santa's taken off. He's found a new spot. He's down on the other end of the floor now at the very top of the bleachers, and he's resting up. He's got a long journey ahead of him in about a week's time. Got to get his relaxation in now. Taking in this ball game. So glad you decided to tune us in on Macomb Township Government Access. If you missed any portion of this ball game, you can tune us in online, macomb-mi.gov. Going down to the broadcast media portion of our website, click on the video on demand link. All of our videos also stream on YouTube. Both of these teams featured in our season preview show. Interviews with some of the captains and coaches. So Davenport knocks down the first, and we'll get a second. 8 team fouls for the Cougars and 7 for LCN, so free throws the rest of the way here. Joey Toko running the point. A little bit of a mismatch there between him and Colton Krolowski. Toko gets the ball right back. 18-footer on the way, and good. And Joey Toko's first bucket of the night. Jordan Brossett with the answer on the offensive end for LCN.
Joey Toko can be very dangerous. He's a guy that's in the mix even in a tight game for Dakota, but he's a shooter, he's a spot up, or can take it off the dribble, but he likes to be behind that three-point line there. He steps up, finally knocks one down.
Marvin Hughes. Rebound by Jansen Davenport up ahead of Brossett. Spin move, circus shot. Doesn't get it to go. Offensive rebound by Klaglerek. So a long rest for Makai Johnson finally comes to an end. He'll check back into the game. As Crusaders trailing by 34.
Got to believe that's a little bit of a message being sent by Jay Seletsky over on that bench going, hey, Makai Johnson cannot do every bit of scoring for this team if you want to be successful. Somebody's got to go out there and figure it out.
Marvin Hughes has had a really nice second half. 7 points here in the second for Marvin Hughes, 5'11" senior guard. Bounce pass, Stewart into the lane, draws contact, will shoot 2.
LCN working a good half-court offense that time. William Stewart able to work off a 2-man game with Davenport on the inside, take it back off the dribble and get up a nice little 6-foot bunny. Just rims out the back, but it was good vision, good job by LCN. Finally running more of a cleaner offense. Granted, you're playing not against the starters of Dakota, but everything's a step in the right direction.
Stewart unable to connect on either free throw, and for LCN it doesn't get much easier here on out. Got an away game against Sterling Heights Stevenson before returning home to take on Orchard Lake St. Mary's. His Marvin Hughes is really feeling it right now. 7 points in the fourth quarter gives him 10 in the game, all scored here in the second half. And then talking about a murderer's row, once you come back from Christmas break, you got Roseville at home before going on the road to take on Chippewa Valley and Ike. So that's the upcoming schedule for LCN, and you just wonder in those handful of games, as Schweisinger knocks down the shot, you just wonder where they're going to pick up a victory.
And then after that, you play at home against Dakota as well, but that's the MO of playing in the MAC Red. You do not get a break once you start the season. It's the top teams in the MAC, the very better teams, and unlike some other sports, there's quite a drop-off when you go MAC Red to MAC White. Every once in a while you see a team from the White creep up, and there are a few teams that'll interchange out every once in a while. But the teams in the MAC Red have earned their spot in the division.
So they wipe the basket off the board for Schweisinger, called an offensive foul. Christian Johnson got the layup on the other end and will go to the line to shoot 1. That's a dogfight every single night within the MAC Red, and it's a ultra competitive MAC Red this season. And you look at the teams that have gotten off to those 1-0 starts. You got Eisenhower, Stevenson, and this Dakota team. And realistically, when you talk about it, that win over Roseville last week, or that 3-point win over the Panthers, that was really an impressive victory for them.
Absolutely, and Roseville's a team that kept their nucleus together from last season moving in. Second-year head coach, there's a team that comes to play, and I made a mistake off the top of the broadcast. That game was actually at home for Dakota. It wasn't on the road, so that they still got to go play at Roseville this season.
Yeah, a little bit of a scheduling quirk that Dakota got these first 2 MAC Red games at home as a nice, easy look inside. Finally translates into points for Jakari Hamilton. As for Dakota with this timeout on the floor, we can also look ahead to their upcoming schedule. And they got a road game against their rivals, Chippewa Valley. That's really going to tell us quite a bit about both of those teams.
Yeah, and Chippewa Valley is one of the 3 in the mix right now. You look at Eisenhower, you look at Chippewa Valley, and you look at Dakota. Chippewa Valley always comes to play, though. But having that inter-district rivalry, you never know what's going to happen. I mentioned it earlier. The 39 games in a row for Dakota was started and ended with losses to Chippewa Valley. So they're a team that's going to come and play regardless of talent, regardless of skill, speed. Well, however your season's going, you're out the window because it's such a big inter-district rivalry game at the 2 biggest schools, Dakota being the biggest, Chippewa Valley, being the 3rd, Eisenhower's the 2nd, 2 of the bigger schools in the MAC.
I think Chippewa Valley can kind of excuse the slow start as Swijek gets involved on that easy look inside. And
I can only imagine a couple of those basketball players were still playing football up until Thanksgiving.
There was quite a few. There was times where Chippewa Valley didn't even have really the capabilities of even playing 4-on-4 at practices because so many of the football players were getting ready for that state title game. And big congratulations goes out to Chippewa Valley for that state title.
You can only imagine the hunger, the kind of appetite that brings to a team saying, hey, we did it in football, why can't we do it in basketball?
So the team's trading baskets. Makai Johnson for LCN. Zach Hogan, first time we've announced his name, number 23 in gray. 5'7" senior guard. So Coach Toko really using everybody here tonight as we get a charge called against Nathan Swijek, rather. A 33-point lead. You can get all your reserves in.
Think about this Dakota team that makes it so impressive about Paul Toko. They've ran them through the ringer. Every year they're constantly pushing guys to the next level of basketball. Then you have seniors like Zach Hogan who are only going to see the latter minutes of 30-point games like this. But that's a program guy that's been around since day one and willing to stick with this team thick through thin mostly. It's been pretty good for him, but might only see a couple minutes in the season, still willing to stick it out for the team. That shows the kind of program Paul Toko has built over on this sideline.
And we mentioned that 44-1 over the last 5 seasons and MAC Red play. You got to talk about those 5 straight district titles as well.
And then you get taken out in playoffs 3-4 straight years. You get taken out before except for the year they made it to quarterfinals, but they kept losing to the team that won the championship. Clarkson twice and De La Salle on the 3rd time. But when you're losing in playoffs to the team that eventually wins the championship, that says something.
Evan Whaling is now the 12th Cougar to score in this game. You only got 3 guys on your roster that haven't scored tonight. We mentioned that game against Chippewa Valley for Dakota. They'll also travel up to St. Clair Community College to take on West Bloomfield, a nice MAC OAA crossover game. As Jeremiah Williams-Stewart splits a couple defenders to lay it in, 81-48. Foul on the floor. That game against West Bloomfield will be the last before the holiday break, and they come back from break and will take on Sterling Heights Stevenson on the road before coming home to take on Ike before going back on the road for that rematch against Roseville.
And that's going to be the game to watch right there. That game matched up with this Friday coming up with Chippewa Valley. Those are the two to watch right now, because by mid-January, you may be able to just get a read on where people are going to finish in the MAC, because it only takes you 2 losses sometimes to fall you right out, or you got 3 or 4 teams in the mix at 4.
And Roseville is an interesting team, Adam. They won the MAC Red White crossover end of the year tournament last season and kind of arguably earned that promotion to the MAC Red, as that corner 3 is no good. And those last free throws scored by Tyler O'Connor gave them a baker's dozen, 13 different scorers now. So Roseville really could be a factor. They are a terrific team. And only dropped that game to Dakota by 3 points. So that'll be an interesting rematch down in Roseville. And that's going to be a long trip for that Dakota team. And that distance between the two schools is pretty great.
Coach Seletsky mentioned that as well. Roseville, another team that'll be benefited by the Christmas break. Chippewa being the first one, obviously, playing all the way through the Class A championship. But Roseville's a team, most of their, especially their starters, all played football. So you guys that are beat up and they got to jump right into basketball practice and do a total 180 on the sport.
Really a terrific performance, as they're going to call Tyler O'Connor, for the travel. And offensively, this Cougar team was clicking on all cylinders here tonight. 83 points per game, eclipsing their season average of 61 points per game. And this will go down as a season high for Dakota. The previous season high was the 78 they scored against Romeo. So that 73-30 loss to Orchard Lake St. Mary's down at Callahan Hall looks like a thing that is clearly in the rearview mirror for the Dakota Cougars.
Yeah, and that's a game when you start off the season, that kind of tempo, someone who always plays that Orchard Lake St. Mary's team that's constantly in the talks for the state championship, just how consistently good that program is. That's not a bad way to start off your season, to really face some diversity in that game, take a loss. In the long run, it doesn't mean anything. Your overall record doesn't mean anything. It's about winning the conference, and then it's about going through districts. And your districts are decided before the season even starts. So you go in there and you learn a lesson day one and come back and start running through the MAC.
Final 10 seconds begin to tick off. Adam, we'll get your final thoughts here tonight. Really an impressive Dakota Cougar victory.
And it's a Dakota team that we've seen now twice already that just keeps getting better. I can't say it enough. Every game they're looking better, faster, stronger, able to finish shots at the rack. And today the most impressive fact is how deep they went in the bench and how well they all played to be able to score across the board. But nothing to scoff at. If you're LCN, you go back to the drawing board, you say, hey, we faced potentially the best team in the MAC. We got something to work on. Makai Johnson is a great ball player. He's obviously going to be your go-to. You're Jay Seletsky, you go, someone else has to step up. He can't do it on his own.
Dakota improves to 4-0, a perfect 2-0 in MAC Red play. LCN falls to 0-4, 0-2 in league play. So I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you, Adam, happy holidays. And all of our viewers out there, a happy new year. For our talented, hardworking MTGA crew, including Jason Radulski and James Drum. For Adam Abraham, I'm Brad Fetter saying Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2019. Thanks so much for watching. Once again, final score, Dakota 85, LCN 52. We'll see you next year.